salute the flag. I
pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay. This is the meeting of the Salem County Improvement Authority. It's Monday, October 22nd, and we're located at the conference room in the Finwall Building. Full order, pledge of allegiance. Open public meeting statement. Okay, notice this meeting has been provided to the public in accordance with the New Jersey Open Public Meeting Act by publication today, some being the Elmer Times newspaper circulating in Salem County, and by posting notice to the Salem County Clerk's office. And by the way, we're going to have to change that next month because there is no more of Sunbeam. Whatever. The roll call, please.
Michael Bork.
Here.
Ron Howard.
Right.
John Eber.
Here.
Hugh Snyder.
Here.
Laura Rhodes.
Here.
Okay, we have minutes of September 10th, special meeting, regular meeting of September 24th, and executive session meeting of September 24th. Is there any objection to taking them as a group? Hearing no objection, I'll entertain a motion to approve all three sets of minutes.
So moved. Second.
Moving second, any question on the motion? Hearing none, moving second, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? So ordered. Solid Waste Division Manager's report, please.
Good evening. Thank you so much for inviting me this evening.
Thanks for coming.
I've been directed that I have to stand over here, but I'm going to stand right here. You have my written report in front of you for your review. I really don't have anything to point out except for, under equipment repairs, I want you to be assured that the Bomag compactor engine was installed. We got a brand new engine at the cost of about $90,000 to $100,000 to the vendor.
Not
Okay.
us.
Not us.
That's good.
But it's a good thing. Everything's working fine with that, no problems at all. I'm gonna leave the bad news up to Debbie, because I know she's gonna tell you about the articulated dump truck today. We had a little spillage. Everybody's fine. Dave Foster was in that dump truck, and the dump truck has a few more dents than it did before, but for the most part. And I talked to him. He was on the top coming back, and it just flipped just a little bit, so the cab went over. He went about 20 feet, slid about 20 feet down before it stopped, but everybody's fine.
Was he in the truck when it
He
started?
was in the truck. I said, that was a scary thought. He goes, you know, I was doing everything I could to make it stop, and it wasn't stopping. He was thinking, how far down am I gonna go? But no, everything's fine.
And only the cab.
And only the cab flipped, not the dump truck part, just the cab, because it's articulated, remember?
Oh, right.
Which is a good thing.
That is a good
I
thing.
guess.
That is a good thing.
I guess.
The other positive thing I'm gonna point out is under customer aging, we did have a payment for the Salem County Shortline account, so that's paid in full.
Oh, boy.
Okay, so that's one out of the three that were outstanding. We're still working on the other two, right?
Mm-hmm. We have a judgment, the Corvette,
Okay,
yeah, we have judgments.
good.
Now it's a matter of trying to collect, that's always the hard part.
And that's gonna be hard, because I don't think that's gonna happen. The other thing is under new projects, the Baylor bid is gonna be, before you tonight for your vote, and I hope you vote on that. This is the second time that we went out for Baylor bids. I think we're getting, the one that we're gonna present to you is a very good piece of equipment. Any questions about the wonderful charts that I apparently said they were upside down
No,
in his?
the charts were sideways, all the things that went along with that were upside down.
Okay, and I just wanted
I
to
don't know if
put
that
on
was
the
a
record
quiz.
as saying,
Huh?
I don't have anything to do with the copying. I sent it down here electronically, so somehow down here that got messed up. But Dave and I were talking about the leachate, and if you look at the chart, how much lower it is this year than last year, if you look at the monthly report itself, you'll see how much difference there is. 380,000 gallons this month compared to 1,171 gallons the same period last year. So that's a big drop in
Attribute that
leachate.
to
Irene?
no rain.
Right, that's right. 5.2,
Well, I would like-
5.42 compared to 3.82, so big
matter.
difference. Any
Whoa.
questions about the charts or the report?
Anybody have any questions?
How many gallons is one of those when you take that away?
So-
The truck,
Yeah, how much-
6,500.
65?
It's 6,500 gallons a tanker.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
They're not 7?
65. Well, we don't want them to go to 7 because that
Because of
makes them
weight.
overweight.
Yeah, right, yeah.
Yeah.
You should
Sorry.
know better than
Or
that.
some-
Sorry, but
7,000
we don't do that. And we
capacity.
check that very carefully too. When they're on the outbound scale, if they're over,
Yeah, so
they
you
gotta
gas,
go back and offload back
you
into
can
the
put
pump.
7,000 gallon of gas, but not 7,000 gallon of water.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay.
Any questions?
No.
Thank you very much.
Okay, without any objection, I'll file that report. Hearing no objection, file. Okay, next item, engineer's report.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Just updates on a couple of things. The landfill expansion, we're just waiting for some paperwork from Pearson in order to close that project out. The data logger, which was the last actual piece of equipment that we were waiting on, has been installed, and we're going to be assisting Lynn Schmidt with programming that so that that'll all be taken care of. And also the electrical issue we were having with the over voltage seems to have been addressed by DCO, and based on the data we've been getting and reviewed by our electrical engineer, everything seems to be working properly now. The raincoat is underway and is moving along pretty smoothly. This good weather is, I'm sure, really going to help them get done quickly. So.
Do we get the certificate yet from the state?
No.
Completion one?
No, we need to, some of the data that Pearson owes us are certified surveys, as-built surveys.
So within a day or two?
Well, it'll take the state a certain amount of time.
Yeah,
It's always a question, but once they get it from us, we'll stay on top of them to turn it around quickly.
Okay, any questions concerning the engineer's report? Hearing no questions, without objection, I'll receive that and order it filed. Hearing no objection, so ordered. Okay, next item is resolution number 116. This is a resolution to pay invoices or bills from the solid waste division totaling $402,210 in checks and $33,237 electronic transfers. Entertain a motion to approve that.
I'll make the motion.
Second?
Second.
Move to second. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? I'm sorry, I missed the main question. Any question on that? Okay. That's that. Moving right along. Economic Development Division report. Yes, sir.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Chairman. You have my written report dated today. We got a couple little updates on the microloan prospects here. We have a tentative meeting scheduled with the CBAC and also the microloan prospects for the 29th. Bring them all in so that they can explain the program, possibly do some applications for them too. So, we received a couple other sites for development and also for economic development in both in Carneys Point and Aldman's. So we'll probably go through that a little later in his report too. So, and the water tower, I spoke with the engineer. He's doing the drawings. He has hired the consultant to do the pre-inspection, and they will do the pre-inspection. They'll have the drawings for the antennas that are going on the Gateway Water Tower. So, and then they'll do the post-inspection after they're installed. So that's all in the hands of the county right now.
The micro, I'm sorry, you all through? Oh,
Yes, go ahead.
I'm
Yeah.
sorry, yeah. The micro loan program, how many people do you think you have are going to?
Right now, I have,
Or interested,
I think it's 7 of them right there.
Eight here.
Eight there, yeah. And there's another possible that I gotta.
And how much is it 5,000, you say?
What, there,
What's the maximum they can apply for?
50,000,
50,000.
50,000,
This is for working capital and the like, right?
yes. And that's as a result of the ITFA grant.
But it's not it's not $50,000.
It's from 1,000 to 50,000.
Now, the veterans employment thing, where are we with that?
Veterans employment,
Weren't we working with someone concerning opportunities for veterans?
that's a one-stop center.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
One-stop, yeah, WIT board, the WIT board, that is just basically if an employer hires a veteran, then they have money.
Yeah, but our job is to let employers know that that's
Yes,
available.
all that has been handed out with all our material also.
That's the point, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yes.
do we know of any successes in that, or,
You know, I have a one-stop meeting Thursday, so I'll update you by Thursday on that.
okay, good.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Can you be more specific on the tower issue, because I know that with emergency management antennas is what you're talking about?
Yes.
And you said it was in the hands of the county, can you be more specific, because we're coming up against a deadline?
No, as a matter of fact, when I talked to the engineer the other day, that banding, okay, the FTC has released that, so there is no, the narrow banding.
I understand that, but
Okay.
we still have problems with the signal reflecting off the river and all kind of issues
From
like
York,
that.
you get that from York, Pennsylvania.
Right,
Right.
so who in the county, is it the public works, is it the engineer, is it the,
The Office of Emergency Management, Jeff Pomper is handling everything.
well,
Yeah.
Jeff said he's done everything he's had to do.
That's correct.
All the equipment's there,
Yes.
so,
The engineer is the one right now. doing
okay,
the
so the county
drawing.
engineer, I'll see him in a week and I'll ask him.
Well, it's not the county engineer.
Oh, not the county
No,
engineer.
they hired, or Albert.
Oh, boy.
Okay, he's doing the drawings, okay? MBA is the one doing the inspection, they're out of Delaware.
Okay,
Okay, so they're the ones who'll do the pre-inspection, do a drawing, he will be able to put, you know, what equipment's gotta go onto the tower,
very good.
okay? And then that gets installed, and then MBA does the post-inspection. So
Sounds
then
good.
they'll turn it over the antennas, and they get away out of, I think it's Pensgrove, so then it'll be live.
Thank you.
Okay.
Jim, I have some more questions.
Any other?
Yeah, I have
Yeah.
a question.
Good.
Microloans, what's needed to qualify for that? Be in business, one, that's it, or
Yeah, be in business, yes, yeah, they have to be in business, they,
is it been out of years or anything?
no.
A sound business plan?
They have to put up a business plan, do the financials and everything, and that is all handled through Cooperative Business Assistance Corporation.
Somebody helps
Yes.
them put that
Yes, they
together?
sit with them, yeah.
Okay.
They come down, Harry Stone and Lisa.
And what's the terms are, each terms are different? I mean, when
Each
you-
terms are different, right?
Maximum, how long payback?
I think it's 5 years, I believe it's 5 years.
And are they still, they're still approved by the county board with the bankers? With the-
No,
No,
this is
that's
separate, that's revolving.
Another body.
That's a revolving loan.
Where
Yeah, this is strictly, this is funded through USDA into the Cooperative Business Assistance Corporation.
Any other questions? Yes.
Just back to the water tower issue.
Uh,
We were told that that project needed to be fast-tracked from the Improvement Authority when they came to us with the lease, and that was to have been completed by October. We are not the holdup for that project.
Yeah, I just wanna make sure that the
Yeah.
people that are holding up understand, if somebody gets hurt because of the signal problem or bouncing off the river or whatever problem they had, that, you know, somebody's gonna wanna hang their hat on that problem, and we wanna make sure that we've done everything that we can do to move it forward.
We have.
And I need to know who's holding it up so I can hang a
Yeah.
hat on, if there is a problem.
I believe, and I know Jeff Pumper has done everything he could.
Yeah, I know
Jeff-
Jeff's
yeah,
on it. I
Jeff
talked to
has
Jeff.
been
He's
on it,
good.
we passed that resolution a while ago in the agreement, everybody signed off on
We
it.
gotta keep that wheel rolling because,
Yeah.
October's only got a few more days left.
Yeah, that's been fast-tracked on our end.
Okay.
All right, thank you.
Any more questions? Okay, without objection, I'll order the report file. Hearing no objection ordered. Okay, now we have resolution number 117, is that correct?
Yes.
117, and that's for the approval of the bills for the economic development division totaling $13,526 in checks and no electronic payments. Entertain a motion?
I'll make a motion. Second.
There's a move and second. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay. Get that one done. Nursing division. Ever smaller division, got two meetings. Okay, you wanna give us 10 seconds on that?
Yeah, I can give you just, we had two very small bills, mostly dealing again with the accounts receivable, both from Lancaster Group, Kumatowski and Ray. As you note that the bills only total $2,000, so we are whittling away as much as we can on this.
Yeah, we had two claims, insurance claims, are they being handled? That
Yes.
what did last meeting?
Yes, both are being handled. One will probably be to the employee's favor and one will probably
not be to the employee's favor. We did reopen the insurance claim, and relative to the disability claim, the plan was closed. It was closed legitimately. She signed off on the documents, and it cannot be reopened.
No, whatever, as long as we're following the rules and so on. Okay, entertain a motion to pay the bills in total $2,006.25.
So moved. Second.
Moved and seconded. Any question on the motion? Hearing none, moved and seconded. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? So ordered. Okay, standing committee, executive committee meeting. Give us 2 seconds on.
Yeah, on the executive committee, we continue to work on our solid waste marketing, and are seeing some measurable improvements in the long-term 5-year plan relative to contract waste under contract. We will also this month be taking a look at our tipping fee schedule to determine what kind of adjustments may need to be made, if anything, for 2013. And also in your communications packet, you did receive a letter, a proposal actually from Alloy Township on the adjustment they would like to see us make to the host community benefit plan, and that'll be referred back to executive committee for deliberation.
Let me comment on that. More than likely, we should have our projection for the 2013 revenue after we finish October, close October out, we'll be in better shape to decide that. And with that, we should be able to finalize our 23-year strategic plan. We've had a 5-year strategic plan, which we all talk about, and we have a 23-year plan, which we've been working on for 6-8 months. So I think we're with this budget, we should probably be in a position to either adopt it contemporaneously or before or after, whatever. Obviously, one of the problems is we're losing revenue from not having the ordinance in place concerning waste flow, and that's probably costing us $250,000, I would say, per year. That's a guess. We know one municipality's over 200,000. There's probably another 50,000 here and there for missing. So we get that all put together, we can make it a decent projection. And it'll let me say that this proposal from Alloway is more than double what we're getting here for.
We're gonna talk about that.
Everybody present,
Well, and I see where they're coming from, is because we're obviously aren't taking in as much trash as we used to, so they're not getting as much money. So now they want to double what we give them, and we're not in a position to do that.
Well, this is not a profit-sharing operation,
I understand.
okay?
I know.
This is not a profit-sharing. Now, you either get one or the other. You get in lieu of taxes, or you get a piece of the pie. You don't get both, for
No,
God's
I
sakes,
agree.
right?
No, I agree.
Right?
I mean, I understand what they're doing, I mean, but
Yes.
they're way out of line by even.
Well, I mean, I'm sure they're saying, don't ask for, I get asked for something, I ask for double. You know, you start with,
And you're really talking close to $400,000 time to get done.
Yeah, so yeah, good money, good money, so, whatever, but that'll have a direct bearing on our 23-year plan, but whatever. Okay, so any questions on on that committee report? Hearing none, I'll order it filed, hearing no objections, so ordered. Okay, personnel committee. Ron?
We have a meeting, tentative scheduled for next month, around November 8th. I think that we just said a few minutes ago about the 2 insurance cases.
Right.
And a couple personnel matters, but that's what we have at this time.
Right. We're caught up in our rules now, right? Our work rules.
We just completed harassment training last week for all the employees.
Right, yeah. So, we're in good shape. Okay. Any questions on that report? Hearing none, without objection, order filed. So ordered. Okay, Economic Development Committee report.
Yes, we met last week for about an hour, 35 or about 45 minutes. Jim Smith already discussed on the microloan prospects. A lot of the people, like he said, they think it's free money and they don't understand, getting a business plan together. And And a lot of them are running into that, and they're getting help. One of the things we talked about, which we're going to address next month, is our strategic plan for next year and moving forward from there. So we'll be discussing on that, and then Jim will present something in the next month or two on that. with the
Yeah,
help.
because our strategic plan has run out as of the end of
This year.
so we have to,
It's an update.
get an update and, see where we go from here. Okay, so much for that. Any questions? Hearing none, without objection, order filed. So ordered. Okay, Mr. Porter, solid waste division report.
Most of the items on here have already been talked about, the baler, the cell expansion, that's pretty much complete. The rain cover is running smoothly, and that'll be done very soon. And everything's running smooth.
We'll put a rain cover on, I'm gonna have a drought.
That's okay.
It's eventually gonna rain.
Doesn't go bad.
I know it. I know it. Okay, any questions on that division report? Hearing none, without objection, order filed. No objections, so ordered. Okay, Innovation and Technology Committee report. That's where we're down to the,
Well, we held a meeting last month with Fulton, the bank, and they satisfied my, somewhat they satisfied me on the fact that if we do have, accept MasterCard, Visa, we are going to, the cost will be, whoever wants to use it is gonna pay for it, okay? Not gonna be an expense to us. And, obviously we have some expense for just having it implemented, but the ongoing cost will be a bit borne by whoever wants to participate and use the card. So I am satisfied to that degree now.
Is that normally how, usually it's the burden of the vendor, isn't it?
Absolutely.
And
well, the
they're,
law's changed. The court case changed all that.
But they've convinced me that it's okay to do it this way, so.
Yeah.
Hey, when you register your car,
yeah,
okay, online,
mhm.
You
You
pay-
pay an extra fee.
Service.
Yeah.
and it's a separate entity on yours, and apparently we qualify to be able to do that.
So they're just gonna list the service fee on their credit card statement when they, okay.
Yeah, the Supreme Court case that was just finished last year sorted all that out. Because, for example, when you, let's say you're a diner, for example, you agreed that you wouldn't charge a different price for people who used credit card or not. Now you can, after
Well,
today or last week or whatever.
you know more about this. Originally, I've been doing this credit card business for a long time, you could not charge more for
Right.
using your card.
Right.
But what more recently came about is you could allow a discount for certain
Right.
things, which, okay, cash was one price, credit card was another price. A different way of saying I didn't charge any more for it. But this is above and beyond that apparently, and I talked to two different outfits, so apparently this is going to be the way it's going to happen.
Good.
So I'm okay with that. Meeting, I guess you're going to have we,
Whoever comes tomorrow with IT in the county,
Okay, well, I will delay my trip a day, and
you wanna come,
what time would this be?
it's at 9 o'clock.
And are we going to, not to, sorry to cut you off, are we going to send out some type of letter to all of the potential credit, or all of our?
We will notify everybody. What we're planning on doing is a January 1st startup for credit cards, because we've got some reprogramming to do in our system. So we'll send a notice out to all of our customers, put everything out for our potential customers, put it up on the website, that this will be a new service provided, along with the 2.5%.
And put a sign out front more likely, I would give a leaflets out.
Or at the next haulers meeting, it can be discussed there, just so they're aware, and
We'll get the word out.
I don't know that we want to spend money to advertise the app.
no, not advertising, but just so they know.
Somebody asked is available.
No,
I mean,
I think that the purpose is for small businesses in the county to come down and, I got 6 tires I gotta settle down. How much, and no one knows, I don't know, you should know, I don't know.
Just bring a credit
Call
card.
them down, bring a credit card, yeah,
Mhm.
give them $150 and sell them down there.
So we're gonna meet with these,
The agenda's right there on your,
tomorrow.
yeah, for tomorrow.
We're meeting with county IT tomorrow. The force upgrade is complete. IT support, we're looking for outside vendors to do for our IT. all right? And virtual service agreement we just talked about. So.
Okay. We have a resolution.
This says 10 a.m., by the way.
Okay, so thanks.
Okay.
It's under new business.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay,
you
yeah,
can't
I'm
do that
sorry.
first. You
Hold
need
on,
to-
you're right.
so,
Okay.
Are you gonna accept it?
Any questions on this report? Hearing none, without objection, I'll order it to the file. Hearing no objection, so ordered. Okay, Executive Director's report.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Under tab 6, you have my report. I'll just highlight a couple items briefly. Under nursing home, we're continuing the reconciliation process and getting much closer to determining the cost share between Golden, the county, and the improvement authority for those items. I'm pleased to report that the County of Salem is paid up through October on the post-retirement benefits. So the November bill will now come due November 10th, so we're caught up on those. We have submitted a third request for the memorandum of understanding, which has not been responded to yet. And we did finalize a private patient reconciliation between ourselves and Golden, and they have signed off on that. And the bill is in the tonight's bill list for payment back to Golden. These are the pension funds that continue to come to us in our bank statement for people who cannot or do not have a power of attorney to be changed.
Who are you sending this to? Are you sending it to the?
I'm sending it
clerk
to
of the
every
board?
freeholder, the clerk of the board, as well as the administrator. They all receive their own individual
So,
copies.
what is that from?
That's the memorandum of understanding that we've met on well over 9 months ago now regarding the timing and the payment of the health benefits.
And there's no response?
None.
That's ridiculous.
Well, we have the freeholder here. Can you answer that?
I made a note, I will find out.
We
I
heard that
actually,
before, but okay, yeah.
no, I actually thought it had been taken care of, about that. I'm sitting here sort of dumbfounded, so I will check into it.
Well, now, most of it's all been taken care of, though, right?
The bills are being paid.
I mean, we're paying them, it's just a matter of the agreement.
Right. And an issue of timeliness, but we can work with it for a week.
No, we're advancing it and not being paid. The theory was
They would be paid by the 10th of the month, so we can process that.
that, so,
On the other items, I'm not going to reiterate everything on the solid waste division, and Melinda did such a great job talking about today's incident. I don't need to cover that except to say that our team did a remarkable job out there handling that today. There were proper notices made to all of the insurance companies, even though Melinda was off today. And
I was involved. I was in
was
Trenton.
in Trenton today. I mean, off-site.
Foster, is who was involved?
Yes.
Okay, he's the mechanic.
Mechanic.
Okay.
And it was actually a good little emergency drill for everybody as well. We do have some bumps and bruises on the tractor that need to be, or the truck that need to be taken care of, but we'll handle those. Already talked about the Fortis upgrade. Take a look if you happen to be out in the Finlaw Building parking garage, Hires Avenue parking garage. We now completed the direct install lighting program out there. Those lights are now automatically dimmed at night should there be no activity in the garage, saving what we hope to be hundreds of thousands of dollars in electric bills.
Great.
Economic development, the Gateway Business Park, Jim gave you an update on that program. The regional sewer project continues to move forward. We're getting a significant amount of interest on the request for information, which does not come due until the middle of November. And we did determine that the county website does not any longer host the posting of the documents, as I believe there was a commitment made both by the public, the Improvement Authority, and the freeholders to post the documents there. I vetted that through the board, the administrator, and the planner's office. We're gonna go ahead and post the documents on ours. We do link back to yours. We don't know how the link, became dispatched or who authorized it to be taken off, but we'll continue to work on that. Our budgets, we are making extremely good progress on the 2013 budget. We met with our health benefits broker late last week to get our final budget numbers for prescription, dental. Our disability budget comes in this week, and our medical benefits. We will be coming to you in November with a recommendation to change our carrier for prescription benefits. Because of the reduced size of the Improvement Authority, our benefit cost would basically double to stay with the existing carrier. And the recommendation is to go into the state health benefit plan. I'll give you all those numbers. We did complete harassment training, as I indicated, next month. The only other policy that remains to be adopted is a workplace violence policy, and the training that goes along with that. And for December, we'll have the rest of the policy and procedures manual ready for your update. I've also given you a list of upcoming events and meetings, and we've completed about 8 staff hours, fulfilling 6 OPA requests from 4 parties. totaling about 110 pages in the month of November. Any questions?
Yeah, now what's this about the information on the regional sewer thing? Is not posted on the county
It is
website?
not posted on the county website any longer, no.
It's supposed to be?
According to an agreement that predates me here, I believe it was back in 2007, that there was an agreement to post those documents up on the county website.
I remember them being up there, it was just, it
And they were
wasn't,
there for a period of time when we went
there's
to look
no
for them.
explanation, there was just a ton of,
Well, they're not even there now.
So what's the answer?
The answer is, we're gonna post the documents on our website. And then
Is
when-
is it required that the county post it legally?
Well, it's an interlocal
There was an,
agreement between the
Well,
Gloucester County.
well, there's two questions. One, might be contractually required, and two, is it required by law?
I think,
No, I don't think it is required.
I mean, I don't remember exactly, I remember being at a freeholder meeting where there was some hubbub in the crowd about all this going on at the time from the public portion, and what the freeholder board decided to do at that time was to post any and all documents pertaining to the regional sewer that were for the public eye on there. No explanation, no, this is what it is, they were just all scanned in and thrown up there so anybody can look at it. I don't think they just
No,
agreed
you're absolutely
upon
right,
that.
that's exactly what happened.
If I remember, yeah, that's, and I mean, they don't have to be there, they don't, if they
Okay,
take them
yeah.
down, they can take them down, that's
Well, we
just,
could put them on our television.
that's what I recall from what
All right,
happened.
so the point is, we're posting them, transparency,
we will be posting.
or, yeah, I'm sorry. So everything will be transparent, because I've been getting a lot of calls on it the last couple of weeks, so it's rare, must be something somewhere posted, because calls are starting to come in. Okay. The accident with the machine, is there a monetary loss? I mean,
Well, there will be, I'm sure, a little bit, but it should be covered by insurance. We're getting the list together now, and it's minor
okay,
thing.
but the machine is still
Oh,
operable?
yeah, they put it
Oh,
right
so
back
it's
together.
done it up and
Got
what
a
have
little,
you?
yeah, a dented battery cover, I think the side mirror got dented a little bit.
All right, so it wasn't,
There'll be a deductible.
yeah,
Yeah.
right, yeah, okay.
Mhm. Nothing
I'm
major,
trying to get my hands
not
around
like the
the
826
scope of the-
compactor fire,
Yeah, right.
No. nothing like that.
Okay, any other questions on the executive director?
I have to say, Debbie, you're doing a wonderful job getting the employees updated on all these drills and plans that you're having.
Goes to run too.
It's great.
Open. Thank you.
I do have one question, because I know we're gonna go into Phil Rowan's report, and I meant to ask if you don't mind drill eventually. So I was curious, I know you guys discussed you guys are getting the board established for economic development, or where are you guys on that? Has there been any movement?
I think there's been a lot of misunderstanding. We're trying to facilitate some of the activity with the townships, industrial commissions, and economic development commissions. And so we've been just basically having dialogue with them. There's no formal commission formed at this point. We are going to make a determination as to whether there would be value to it, to basically be a facilitator, and that's what we are looking at.
Okay, yeah, I was just curious, I didn't know, I know there was some discussion on, I was not actually at that meeting, but I was just curious on where it stood, or what you guys.
And I think there have been a lot of ideas that have been kicked around, and we've talked about breaking into 3 separate divisions. And like I said, we've talked to some of the major players, and we've talked to some of the minor players as well, and we've attended some meetings. So right now, it's more of a fact-finding mode at this point.
Okay. And I guess do you plan on including us on any of this, or no, or at least?
I think as soon as we get some direction as to what we intend to do
Okay.
at this point.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, any other questions on the executive director report? Hearing none, objection, I'll order received and filed. Hearing none objections, so ordered. Next thing is our consultant report.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. First item I have is regarding additional solid waste marketing and research and discussions with our potential new customers, expansion of those existing customers. We're continuing to have meetings and telephone calls with them, and monitoring their process when their contracts are going out for bid and when they're going to be ready to look for new sources. We have been working with one major community that's interested in finding a new source for disposal, so we're continuing to stay on top of that. Also review the expressions of interest that came in from various firms in terms of new technologies or other types of undertakings they could have on the landfill complex. And I guess the next step is to go out and more formal proposals from them. So that would be the next step in that regard. On economic development, we had a meeting with folks at Oldman's Township, I guess separate meetings that we had not to violate the Sunshine Law, regarding the success we've had at Gateway and also potential expansion and other interests that they have, which is a wide variety of activities, economic development-wise, throughout the township, including the old Army base and other private properties and undertakings that they want to have us look into, see if we can help them. Certainly with Oldman's land areas on 295, with the interchange and everything, all the other resources they have, including the waterfront, they seem to have a lot of potential development opportunities. I continue to help them any way we can. Just south of the Oldman Township line, there's this large farm in Carney's Point. Part of it is in Oldman's Township, but most of the Oldman's Township portion is wetlands, unfortunately. But there's about 60 developable acres in Carney's Point Township with rail access and with some proper promotion and possible some zoning modifications, could be a major redevelopment area, providing new industrial and commercial sites there. So we do have new marketing materials from Binswanger is marketing the property, and we've just got new marketing material from them that we'll make available to any firm that needs an inquiry looking for a site with rail in the central part of the Salem County western area. Although the price of $3.2 million is their asking price, you raised that question. I went back to the broker and said, well, it's an asking price. 50,000 an acre is kind of high.
Maybe there's oil on there, right?
So we didn't discuss mineral rights on the price. You got to start somewhere, I guess, just like anything else.
Well, it's attractive with the rail access, that's for sure.
I mean, if for the right kind of user, they might, obviously everything's subject to negotiation, and nobody really pays the full asking price anymore for anything. We also had a meeting that included my last report regarding the Salem Port and the new rail improvements that are becoming through Salem County, actually all the way from the Delaire Railroad Bridge up in Pennsauken Township, Camden County, all the way down to the city of Salem, down to Anchor Glass and down to the port. It's going to be upgraded significantly under a major federal grant that the county, South Jersey Port Corporation, New Jersey DOT put together, and they got approved by the federal government. It's called a Tiger Grant. So really completes the the long phased process of the wavy railroad line that comes down into the city of Salem. So that's going to get underway. I met with the people at the Port Corporation. They're going to be administering the contract and overseeing everything. So it's going to take a number of years to get done. It's a very complicated project, but that's going to be a big boon, I think, to bringing industries in and keeping the ones we have here in Salem.
Does that supersede that Beth goes out and gets a few $1 million for a couple miles and a couple miles here? This is
in addition to that. It speeds the timetable up because we kept getting little pieces and doing small phases, basically, how much money behind it. So
we'll address the whole line at one time. We're going to address the whole line instead of.
I believe it completes everything we need to do, and it takes it all the way up through Swedesboro, which is our county leg of the line, goes into Gloucester County, and then takes it from there all the way up and makes it all the improvements. There is a bottleneck. New Jersey, South Jersey is a peninsula, and the only way to get rail traffic into the peninsula is over that Delaire Railroad Bridge. So upgrading that to modern standard and improving the weight of the track and the whole ballast system and everything else is going to be a real plus for us. It's probably going to take about 5 years to get it all done. But this really completes all the phases that we put in place. This really completes the process. Any questions?
No. Any questions? Hearing none, without objection. File. File. so voted. Okay, so for old business, okay, this is charge loss, we're not ready for that yet, for the hospital. Okay, authorizing merchant service, this is about the,
Mr. Chairman, you gotta put the merchant services agreement under new business as it is, because you need to amend your chart first to allow for the 2.5% increase.
so what we'll do, without objection, we'll go to authorize and amend the tariff, which would then permit us to do the charge, the charge. Okay, so we'll go to the resolution authorizing amending the tariff, which is behind tab
9.
9. There you go. Resolution, what? 18.
2.5 per transaction.
Okay, there's several amendments. You want to give us a quick?
This resolution does amend the tariff for the solid waste. It includes a couple different things. One, as a result of some ongoing meetings we've had with PSE&G regarding the marsh grass, Phragmites material that had been coming to the Salem County Improvement Authority landfill, that they stopped bringing us in order to take it over to Wilmington Organics. They've agreed to bring it back to the Salem County Improvement Authority, and they have a much better understanding of how materials such as that, which are very high in organic material, now relates to methane gas production and therefore energy production and the gas to glass facility. So we have created a waste code of C23, which is vegetative waste, just the same as it was, discussing it as a feedstock for our energy generation, charging the same rate that is charged to all others in the C25 category for vegetative waste. But it will allow PSE&G to use that in their environmental matrices as a environmentally friendly disposal option. So having spent, I guess we've had 3 different meetings now with friends at PSE&G, we have found a way for this to be a win-win solution for them.
Save them on transportation too.
Yes.
I might add, the name of our facility is a misnomer. We call it a landfill. In fact, it's a resource recovery, in my opinion, and post haste, we'll change the name, because PSE&G hierarchy says, we don't want to go to no landfill. They see a bill come in from a landfill, that's a landfill. They see a bill come in from a resource recovery facility, I'm oversimplifying obviously, but, and in fact, we are probably leading the way in New Jersey with resource recovery. I don't know anybody doing much better than us as far as taking the gas and feeding our to college and also feeding it back to the electric grid. Now, this particular product will speed up the gasification process, correct?
Gas production process.
And
We hope. It will, especially in the new south.
but that's the point. Now, the name, I think we'll change it. And I don't think it's much.
Well, do we have to change all the permitting?
I doubt that. I think you just put a sign up and say this is our, facility. We should look into it.
Trading ads, also known as.
I think we changed the name once before, it wasn't, there was a whole lot.
We did it for the
to
nursing home.
Maybe that's what.
Oh, the nursing home was a mess. Oh, no, that didn't.
That was easy, yeah,
Yeah.
there wasn't a whole lot.
I think we did DBA for that.
Yeah, I think
Yeah.
we would have meant to do the same thing here.
Yeah, because I think it would mean something, yeah.
The Salem County Improvement Authority doing business as.
You're right.
Well, I think it would be, right now we call Salem County Improvement Authority Landfill Division. We just changed it, or Solid Waste Division, we call it Resource Recovery Division. Or you have to keep that name, Resource Recovery Facility. In other words, keep the names, and this is just one of our many, many facilities, this is our Resource Recovery Facility.
We could get Debbie to look into that.
Yeah, okay.
I know there's a lot of private landfills, fancy names, I mean, like
We
Eco
can get
this
fancy
and
too.
Green that, and so it's probably a process you gotta go through to change.
Rename it. The
Okay,
other
I'm
3
sorry.
items that are in the tipping fee
Oh, I'm
matrix
sorry, yeah.
are, there's a special charge that we assess particular vendors if we have to assist them in unloading their load, as we had to with somebody very recently who brought us a mess of lettuce. And we also have a special reloading fee, those are $100, and they've not been incorporated in the Tipping Fee matrix, so we're doing that. And then the 2.5 charge is a service charge, credit card processing fee, that's 2.5% per transaction. So whether you're a residential customer, commercial customer, 2.5% will get added onto the bill at the time of sale for you to use a credit card.
I'll make the motion.
Second.
Any questions? Moving second, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, now we go back to the resolution authorizing merchant service agreement.
Yes,
Okay.
you do too.
I'll make the motion.
Motion to get it on table?
Yep.
And present it to
Motion
the
to
board?
table it first.
I'll second that.
Moving second, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, entertain motion to adopt the resolution.
I'll make the motion.
Second.
Moving second, any question on the motion? Moving second, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, so that. Okay, awarding the contract for the food digger, right? Where's that?
Still on.
Yeah, I got it. I got it.
One more.
Okay, this is number okay, give us a quick rundown, this has been ongoing.
Yeah, we had accepted bids on the 24th of September and rejected those bids because they did not meet our specifications. We clarified our expectations relative to the bid, resubmitted those, and on October 8th, reopened the bids. We did provide the opportunity for them to provide a bid on a new unit, which is what our expectations were, but they were also given an alternative option to bid on a refurbished unit, but they had to meet the requirements of a new unit first, because that's what we were really looking for. Previously, we had 3 bidders who submitted. This time we had 2 bidders. They both submitted new and refurbished equipment. Lynn and her team have done a fine job looking at the bid specifications. There's really 2 different manufacturers' pieces of equipment here. Looked at the refurbished equipment as a possibility and have determined that the Recycling Equipment Corporation new model MaxPack HCE 60FE8 is what we would desire for the baling of the agricultural plastic. I'll remind the board also that this project is being funded with grant monies from the REA.
Debbie, I have a correction to the resolution. We opened those bids on the 18th.
18th, there's one missing.
So, I know, I've seen the plastic back there, we're gonna bale this, okay, and then we're going to take this, some plastic recycling.
Sell it.
Sell it.
We're not
okay?
taking it anywhere, they're coming to get
They're
it.
gonna come get it, that's even better. Okay, so do we have these bales that come off, they're gonna be pretty, we have a piece of equipment that moves these things? We have a-
That's gonna come out of the grant, we're going to rent that, and then my next thing is going to, we're gonna purchase a forklift, we're gonna go into that whole
That was my
process.
question, you gotta have a lift, you gotta
Yes,
move this
that is
from
true.
A to B.
Yep.
And that's all coming out of the grant?
Baby steps, yes, the
Well,
RP grant.
for that, you can get Forks for a front unloader, which is a simple thing, but they cost you.
But in order to load the shipping container, we have to have a low boom forklift. So we're gonna rent one first, we're gonna try it out, we're gonna see how that
How about I
works.
show you how it's done?
Okay, you come on down and show us how to do it.
I do it all day.
What date would you like that?
No, seriously.
Motion to approve.
We already have forks.
Okay,
Second.
let's give a little 2 seconds on what this is. You know, it's been ongoing for a year. Originally, we used to get the farmers, black plastic and tape and so forth, and we put it in the landfill. Well, that's where some of the odor came from a few years ago, okay, because it wasn't breaking down, it was trapping water. Correct me if I'm wrong.
No, you're right.
I mean, that wasn't the only reason for the odor, but that was a major reason. So then we say, well, keep it out of there. Now what are we gonna do with it? Okay, well, we were paying for people to take it away, I believe for a short period, right? Did we pay some people to take that away?
It's all there, so.
We have never paid anyone to
I
take
thought
that
we
away.
had paid somebody to take some, okay, I'm
No.
mistaken there, but at any rate,
Not
the
correct.
point is, it's there. So now what we're gonna do, and by the way, we're charging $50-some a ton to have it brought in, right? Or
That's correct.
pay us to bring it in.
On the average.
What we're going to do is bale it and sell it to, we have prices from people who are gonna recycle it, or burn it. There's other people who burn it because got good BTUs. So the point is, we're only gonna get pennies back, but the thing is, we're not gonna be putting it in our landfill. So, that's found money, it'll cost us a little. That's the business plan. So,
But if somebody else burns it, it's resource recovery again.
Correct.
Still
There you go.
consistent with that.
and it's high in BTU value.
Exactly.
That's and by the way, we received, which we should talk about before we close tonight, we received the proposals, and some of those people proposed to create fuel, which we might put in that system, who knows? I mean, so,
Motion to approve?
Second.
move in second. Question on the motion? Hearing no question, move second, all in favor?
Aye.
Signify by aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, what's the next one? Okay, resolution starting the fair and open process for the awarding of professional service contracts.
I'll make the motion.
Second.
Moved and seconded. A question, I have a question on the motion. This is for all positions, right? It's a standard procedure that we use every year.
The required position, yeah.
Okay, we'll be requesting proposals. Interested parties, okay? Okay, moved and seconded. Any question on the motion? Moved and seconded. All in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Opposed? Okay, that's that. What's next on our agenda here? Correspondence, okay. We just point out the, well, we got two pieces, right, we'll talk for 2 seconds. Well, I think we probably already did. We had a proposal from, Alloway vis-a-vis the notice of community benefit. You know, I'll move, we refer that to the executive committee to handle it, and the objection, and no objection.
What are we gonna do? Alloway?
Yeah,
I wanna talk about it. You don't wanna talk about it?
well, no, I don't know, we should talk about it in public,
Okay.
in the closed session, because we gotta get a position. I think what we gotta do is come up with we gotta look at it vis-a-vis our budget. And we gotta say, okay, and then we have, here's what we can afford, here's what it means to our budget, here's what it means to our long-range plan.
We're gonna have a discussion about that tonight in closed session, you think?
No, I would say next meeting.
Let's see what they really have to say first.
Well, it's pretty clear.
Well, I mean,
Well,
but that's
Okay,
really not.
Close your ears, and, right?
They spoke to me about it, because I asked
$2.34
them.
a ton, a lump sum, which is almost double what they got before.
Right.
And how long was the old contract?
20-some years.
What's that here? And my question is, based on CPI compounded from opening
Yeah.
88 to 2012. I guess somebody's gonna have to explain that to me,
Yeah.
all right?
We don't have a computer get that high.
Yeah, so this is nuts.
Yeah.
right?
Well, I think the process should be, we come up with our proposal, don't give it to them, have the board here talk about it in closed session, have the numbers, because we talked about today, we don't have the numbers, we just got this the other day, our side numbers.
Okay, because we're talking about benefit in lieu of taxes, okay? Now, I'll
Right.
give you an example. The hospital in Elmer, all right, doesn't pay taxes and does not give us any money in lieu of taxes, and I don't get a per patient number, all right? I don't get that. And I'm sure the nuclear plant may give some money to LAC, of course, there's energy thing, but I don't think they get a per kilowatt. This is nuts, all right? So,
Why don't we ask, I mean, I'm not I'm actually in favor of, why don't we just ask them to come and give a presentation at our next meeting and say, hey, here's what we got and here's how we're arriving at this, and, I mean, if we're all gonna discuss it next meeting anyway, let's bring them in and just say, hey, here's where they are,
And
and
they think we ought to be prepared. I mean, that's my point, get prepared is,
They could say,
for example,
what's your
look-
counterproposal? We would have one.
right, well, that's my point. And also, what are other landfills getting, municipalities getting for public landfills throughout the state? I think
we've
we're,
already given them that. We met with them a long time ago and gave that to them.
I don't know what it is, do you know what it is? I don't know.
No,
I mean, I know
we had
we're,
that spreadsheet put together.
Yeah.
well, what's the highest number of tons peak year?
140, right?
Yeah.
140, all right, 140. This 234 is up from prior, I'm sure, but even 100 tons, that's
We pay
$234,000.
$1.50 now.
$1.50 now? That'd be 234,000 on top of the 117. Are you? Our budget is.
That's what I mean, I think you can say, talk about it,
I don't
but
mind-
we don't have any figures. We get all the figures for everybody, we come up with say, okay, here's our limit. hear what other towns, or other counties are doing.
Mike, I don't mind talking to them, but I think that it's pretty clear what they want, but if they can come up with, you know,
Well, and
explain this CPI compound to me, I really would.
I hope somebody's,
it's my understanding that a former board member of here is leading the charge too.
I'm
Doug Fisher, he's head of their little committee that's leading the charge on that, so.
I guess my question is, if we do not sign an agreement with them,
It's just we just keep going.
thank you.
So we just do nothing, and it just, we still pay the same what we do. I mean, they can ask us to renegotiate, correct, but
well, you know, the reason for host benefits, let me tell you something. If anybody knows anything about host benefits, I've been involved in it for 40 years, okay? The rationale for host benefits is you have a facility, I'll give you Camden, for example, Rutgers University. They take all the ratables off the town, don't pay any back, okay? Well, this facility didn't take any ratables off the town, that's for sure, okay? Then they look at what the cost is in the city, police, drunk kids, who knows, all that kind of stuff. There's
They
a
have some
cost.
road repair once in a while,
Okay.
I get it.
So what we say to them is, okay, what is your cost, and have we increased it? In other words, you have to pass the road once in a while, yeah, we know that. Has it increased? And we would say, well, no, I think it's decreased because there's less trucks these days. Okay, so your cost, we're giving away the whole.
Yeah, how often do they do the road? Is it a county road? Is it a
Can I
township
make a
road?
comment? The roads going to our
County road?
facility are not township roads. County roads.
Bingo, that's what the
Okay.
next question is,
Okay.
a county road.
they're county
They're
road,
county
by
roads.
foot.
But we're giving away our whole, we might as well, my idea was
Not the road
to
repair.
come up with a response, present it to the board in closed session, say, here's our position, here's all the pros and cons to the matter. What's yours? Okay, and.
Well, the obvious one, and it's hard to put a price on it, is before the facility was here, it was beautiful countryside with nice quiet, you know, cars going down the road. Now there's heavy duty
That's
trucks
good.
going down the road, maybe some trash falling off it. You know, there's a lot of issues
Oh,
that
yeah,
are on there, so
and-
we're gonna look at everything and
Yeah.
come back with a proposal.
Sure, that's exactly right. We've been
That's,
over,
that's not an unsightly thing when you go by there, by any means, all right?
matter of fact, might be one of the prettiest things
Thank you,
around.
all right?
But that's another story.
Yeah.
Don't you
Okay.
think part of the motivation too is because they're trying to get money for their convenience center to help support the convenience center? I
Well-
don't think I think that's part of it.
Well, it's their right to
We met
ask.
before.
It's our right to ask, and we're gonna
Yeah.
entertain that.
We met
They
before,
can-
they wanted
can
no
tune in
parts of
tonight and
closing
find
that.
out exactly our position, okay?
So, you guys will do work on that.
Yeah. Okay, where we at? What comment?
Correspondence.
Oh, okay, so our response to them is we're taking under advisement. Any objection? No objection. Taking under advisement. And what's the next? There was one other item. Oh, that gentleman on the cheaper rate.
Yeah, we had a request for a reduction of tipping fees for tires. This individual's one of several who have a special agreement with the Salem County Health Department and are required to bring us so many tires per month to continue the cleanup. And he has asked for a reduction of tipping fees. And our recommendation after reviewing that, along with the others that are in a similar situation, is not to adjust the tipping fees.
Right, I don't know what basis we could lower tipping fee for one person or the other. Matter of fact, I would suggest it's probably illegal. But I asked our consultant, he's aware of two cleanups going on in Camden County now.
Well, one is in Cumberland, Fairfield Township,
Oh,
one is
right.
in Winslow. And
But
I
could
think
you
the state
get
is
the-
funding those from it, there's a fund they have to clean those.
Could you find out
I'll
what
look
that
in and
fund is
see
and,
what the eligibility criteria is.
right, because maybe we could steer these people to that, even assist them, you know, to fill out the paperwork.
I know that both of those facilities, the owner like went bankrupt or something and couldn't afford to pay, so the state stepped in.
You know, these are retired people who,
Right, if they're an innocent party, they
Right.
heard it from somebody else, maybe, I don't know.
Bill, isn't that through the City Hall? Isn't that grant through the City Hall?
It may be, I'm not sure. All I know is that they're being
Okay.
cleaned up now. I don't
so you're
know.
gonna,
I'll
you're
look
gonna,
into it.
okay,
I'll call you about that.
Isn't this the old Moore tire on the corner?
Mhm.
I mean, everybody knew for 40 years there's tires there. How could she not know it?
We already cleaned up Moore's Corner.
Moore's is still,
We already
It's
cleaned that up.
been
This
$2
is an
tire.
adjacent property.
yeah, it was a couple
Oh,
of
that's
million
not
dollars.
right, right on 49 though, isn't it?
Yeah, but it's adjacent to where we already cleaned. That
Yeah,
one,
it was
entire
storing
site's
them there.
really
Different
good.
lot.
North tile, the
Different
corner,
site.
cleaned up.
Yeah.
This is not that same
Different
project.
site.
Different parcel.
Do we know how many tires estimated are there?
Pavilion.
There wasn't more.
I want you to
A lot
write
of-
that number
a
up.
lot
on
of
the board.
tires.
Yeah, I mean, if I talk to somebody, I'd give them an order
I can get
of
it.
magnitude.
Yeah, we, yeah.
Is it 1,000, 10,000, or?
Well, it's acres, I guess you'd do it by acres, right? So many acres, so deep, whatever. All right, is there any other?
Correspondence, I just wanted to ask Debbie real quick, I noticed there's some 102 pages request for Oprah, is this, I mean, are we being compensated for the time to get all that stuff together?
All of this is electronic in nature, and there are no special service fees for these requests.
I mean, it takes time, right?
Yes, it does.
You know what I'm gonna do? One of these days I'm gonna retire. And know what I'm gonna do? All my life is I'll spend on making Oprah requests.
I mean, they're not asking how many light bulbs we buy or something. These are-
No, I'm serious, I'll report
I
it
mean,
back to you.
This is a waste of time.
Somebody's already done that.
And then I'll go for a
There is a law that
newspaper
we must conform
Yeah.
with.
and start selling it.
Okay.
Somebody's
Okay.
already done it, right, Phil?
We ready? Anything else on the agenda? Anything else with correspondence? Hearing none, without objection, order all the correspondence filed. Report back to the two people that we mentioned. Okay?
I make a motion we open the meeting to public.
Move, second. All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Public, start over this side. Yes, sir.
When you modify what you call tariffs, are you able to do that without advance notice to the public or publishing any notice that you propose to do that?
Correct. We can.
Or advising or participating in any way with the DEP? You can just
Correct. We
sit
have
here in
a,
a closed session and change the tariffs?
we didn't go to closed session.
Well, I mean,
Yeah, right, yeah.
There's nobody.
We have a range that's filed with the DEP, and we can operate within that range. If we go outside that range, then we have to notify them their approval. Okay,
I didn't get his name,
Pardon?
he said his name?
Sorry.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, my name is John Evans, and I represent the Salem County Watchdog.
Okay. Here's a good question. You know, I've always learned in a public meeting, always practiced all my life, that the person would give their name and address. I was questioned here that is not required. And I didn't push it. Well, I see the freeholder board, they require it. That's true, right?
Yes.
Mr. Attorney,
Yes, sir.
do we require that? Person's name and address?
Probably the name, you can't require the address.
No.
You can request it.
You can request it,
Okay.
yeah, I mean,
No problem.
generally, keep the.
Because I was the freeholder, and they did, I feel, well, my, now, in the case of the planning board, I know it's different because it's testimony that had to.
Well, that's different, yeah, but generally, public bodies are
Okay.
moving away from address requirement.
Okay, let's move on. Anybody else, got, don't forget our rules, go ask a question, give up the floor, next person asks a question, we'll go round and round. Anybody down here, anybody over this, anybody over this side? Yes, ma'am.
Ann Sullivan, mailing address Woodstown, but I physically live in beautiful Alloway Township. I have a question that I'm gonna go through with the executive director, because you, pardon me, go through the chair, right?
Yes.
Okay. I had a question in August, time flies, and executive director emailed me some documents, and I hadn't had a chance to look at them, so I looked at them. And then September went, and then October. So the question I have is, this is, I don't have enough for everybody, but what are examples of tenant expense reimbursement totaling $6,280?
Okay, this is the rent of this building. This is concerning the rent of this building.
Well, one of those items, rent is one item. One is tenant expense reimbursement. That's another item. And then another item, but this particular line item in the total cost is $6,280 per month. That's for July and that's August. And then I'm not a mathematician, but I kind of like, and on that PO, and this is where everyone has to have their documents in front of it, because it's kind of this is an interactive question. So the amount is $20,463. So then that number,
Matches up to the other one.
there you go.
And that's
it
how much
also,
we pay every month.
also, it is now on item number 2701 on this check date. So I'm just interested, because I've been a tenant, and when I've spent money, I get paid back. I don't have to write a check. So I need to, I'm unsure what that term meant, tenant expense reimbursement, that the improvement authority is paying someone else.
There's some common areas that we utilize outside of the footprint of the property that we rent here, such as the restroom facilities, such as the elevators, such as the emergency generator, that are paid for by the Finlaw building, that then we reimburse for our share of the usage of.
Okay, now that's a good answer. But my question to you is, this is the other part, because I've had common space and I used to be a very small little landlord slash building maintenance slash custodian slash owner slash everything. And that month, that usage would change month to month. It wouldn't be the same. So sometimes when the guys needed to use the elevator, oh no, we didn't use it this much. Okay, no $100 off. No, we didn't do, no, we take that off. It would change, it would fluctuate, it wouldn't be the same. That's my question.
Our lease says it's the same, it's a fixed amount every month.
And even though there are less people here, you're using it less, it's still the same.
What do you mean there's less people here?
Well, aren't there less employees here that use this space?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, do you see what I'm saying? I'm just.
It's kind of hard to track how many times someone goes up and down the
There's actually
elevator,
more
flushes the
There's more,
toilet.
there's less.
It's based on,
Exactly.
There's less employees out at the landfill, but not here.
Okay, there are less employees here.
well,
No,
there's
sure.
more.
There are more employees here. Anyway, that was just, when I've been,
Excuse me. The state tenants also have the same on their lease. They have a rental payment, a tenant reimbursement, and the
Yeah, but
parking space too.
I didn't have
so-
access to the state, thank you for bringing that up.
Yes, they
But
have.
I fluctuated, I was maybe a more aggressive tenant, and I questioned that amount.
Next, can we negotiate when that lease expires?
The common space, I rent space myself in industrial areas. That's a percent, in industrial areas, I'm sure here too, it's based on percentage of square footage.
Yes,
So,
it is. Yes, it is.
like for example, I run over in exit 10 over there. Well, I'm paying for the bushes and the parking lot. I don't use the parking lot hardly at all. Other people use it 5 times as much as I do. So that goes, when you know, that's your percent of it. And by the way, it's all broken down, on mine, it's broken down.
It's all broken down for you.
Yeah, well, it's
For instance.
landscaping, common lighting, that's included,
Mhm.
and it's percent of the whole facility based on square foot. And that's what basically this is.
Well, if you're talking about your budget, I thought that's kind of a not high, maybe not high for you, but that would be high for me as a tenant, if you're just trying to figure out your budget. Thank you very much, thank you for your explanation.
Okay, anybody else have any questions? Yes, sir.
Why don't you have flow control?
Well, we're working on flood control. We have all the paraphernalia ready for it, and it's up to the county to adopt it. County Board of Freeholders. The process is,
Our next step
Have you
is to go
recommended it to the
Pardon?
people?
pardon?
Have you recommended it?
Oh, yeah. And we are doing all the process. Okay, the next process is a meeting of the Solid Waste Advisory Committee, which is a large committee, 18 people, I believe.
one for each municipality.
18 people, something like that. They meet, they recommended to the freeholder board, it's up to the freeholder board to adopt it. It's in the form of, I believe it's in the form of ordinance, I'm not sure, but it's,
That hasn't happened yet,
that has not happened.
and that was my question. Why hasn't it happened yet? Why did it, in other words, there are other counties who have flow control.
Some do, some don't.
It's been a device available to this county for some time, isn't that true?
No, flow control would have been to our detriment before. Now, because our surrounding counties have it, now it's to our advantage. Before, if we would have instituted flow control, they would have instituted flow control, and we'd have been the loser. Which in fact, we were a loser once they did institute flow control.
That's more of a question, in my opinion, for the freeholder board, because for us to move forward and get all this stuff together, we present it to the free, because we have to we recommend that to them, and then the solid waste and all that. And then we spend money doing that in time, and then they say no. So in my opinion, that's more of a question for the freeholder board, because they make the final decision. They hold the public meeting, they hear the crap from all the haulers and the residents and all that, so that's more really ultimately.
We're about ready to bring that, right? I think
There was
everything.
a resolution that was tabled by this board
We
Yeah.
tabled it couple months, 3-4 months ago, I think it was,
2 months ago.
2 months ago, right?
you know,
Well, and in sort of response to that comment, if other county, if you knew that it was gonna impact your revenues by other counties adopting flow control, and it is a question for the freeholders, wouldn't it be advantageous to get it to them sooner rather than later?
We originally went to the freeholder, they said, you do all the preliminary work. That's what we're doing. We have it ready, and we're ready to present.
I guess, what sort of preliminary work is there? I just didn't understand that.
I'll ask our attorney. All the rates,
Well, we have to do a amendment to the solid waste plan.
right,
That's the most critical work, in amending the solid waste plan that includes the flow control. Once that's done, we pass a resolution here, goes to the solid waste advisory committee, who makes recommendations and comments, and then it goes to the freeholder board for review and approval. There's a whole process that has to be followed when they have hearings. It's got to have transcript made, things like that. I think they meet quarterly, the solid waste committee, or?
I think
We can call for a special meeting.
Yeah, they meet pretty much when called for their meeting. So, we're waiting for it to be approved by this board. I think, yeah, and then we go to the solid waste advisory committee.
so we're ready to do it.
When did you go to them and when did they say,
Beginning of the year,
January of 20?
February maybe, when was it? You recall, it was beginning of the year.
It was first
Right around the
actually,
same time
We went there.
with the
It's a
MOU, if I
snowstorm.
recall.
We went there before the MOU.
it was
Very
first
first
preliminary
briefing.
discussed December
December last year.
28th or 30th of last year in a closed session meeting that Chairman Over, myself and Debbie attended. And it was brought up at that point, because we talked about the whole nursing home and the funds going back to here and that whole negotiation process. And we talked to them about flow control at that point, and the freeholder board at that, well, actually, there was only 5 or 6 of them in the meeting at that point. They said, well, let's try and talk to Pittsgrove to get them to come
Right.
back,
That was the
so they
point.
don't have to do that. Maybe politically, it's not the best thing to do. So we talked to Pittsgrove, we still have no ends, and so that's why we approved, or we tabled the current resolution we have now. And it's ultimately up to them. I mean, we can
Matter
push
of
all we
fact-
want.
Matter of fact, we made an offer to Pittsgrove, a very attractive offer to them. So they wouldn't have to confront the issue.
And if they wanted it that bad, they being free, I'm sure they would be breathing down our neck.
Our calculation is our offer to them was, it was cheaper for them to come to us than to go to Cumberland County, but they obviously don't agree. So we don't know. Well, whatever, there we are. Okay, anybody else have any questions? Go around. Yes, I got Ellen.
Yes, I do. What does the Padilla group do for
Give them
They do some risk management assessment of our solid waste division for loss control, and they're also assisting with some of our human resources programs.
do they file a report like other consultants?
No.
So they do risk management of what?
They do risk management at our solid waste division for loss control, and they also assist us in our human resources division.
What is loss control?
Classic theft, deterrence,
What losses?
with the loss control.
Damage. damage.
What, loss from theft, is that what you mean?
Theft, damage, anything.
How does somebody advise you against damage?
Lock the door, lock the gate.
And you need a consultant to do that?
Yeah, yes. We had a near catastrophe when the contractor started, working here, you know, they took some, dirt, moved it around. No one's, what's going on? We got it under control,
We've had a formal site assessment done.
yeah. So then
A lot of material out there.
prompted to say, hey, let's get everything together out there, get our cameras lined up, do what we gotta do to keep our, because we're not worried about theft. I ain't worried about theft. We're worried about somebody breaking in, okay? Dumping toxic waste, and you laugh. I'm in the food business, and we have all kinds of security. I hate for people stealing, they're afraid to break in and put poison in the food.
I think you're also worried about people breaking in and getting injured. We have a lot of land, a lot of equipment, a lot of dangerous things out there. And, you know, these are, my understanding is that's what, I don't know specifically what they've done, but that's my understanding is that's what a loss control consultant would help protect against.
So are they like a security agency, is that what they?
No, they're a consulting group. They do an assessment, like Debbie said, they've gone out there, they've done a full assessment and made recommendations, and when questions arise, I'm assuming we can contact them with issues. For example, a truck rolling over, you know, they might be able to assist with that type of issue. And that's definitely a loss when you have a damage to the truck, there's a loss there. Even if the truck is still usable, there's still things that have to be fixed, and that's where they might be able to come in and become helpful.
And then if you get sued, and the judge says to us, what do we do to prohibit this to happen, and we can say that we hired a loss consultant to advise us on how to handle everything, and we followed all their directions.
Well, it definitely could be useful in that sense.
Okay. Any other questions? Around. Any more, sir? Any more questions? No. Okay. Any more? I hear none. Entertain a motion to close the public portion.
I make the motion.
Second.
Move the second. All in favor, say by saying aye. Entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second. Move the second. All in favor, say by saying aye.